Hello everyone, my name is NAJMI. I'm an undergraduate student from UMK and I'm studying in science technology, or as known as SFH. I'm also the leader of the group 15. Well, today I will be presenting on the application of calculus in Kedah, Kelantan cattle farming. The summary of the bioscience problem is that this study applies calculus to monitor the body weight and growth of the Kedah, Kelantan cattle more accurately through mathematical modeling. This approach allows farmers to understand growth patterns scientifically and systematically. The importance of the study is that it helps farmers to determine the most suitable time for feeding and slaughtering the cattle. As a result, meat production can be increased while reducing the farming costs. Okay. Next, this is the points of the graph. The weight function shows the relationship between the age and the body weight of the cattle, whereas the marginal growth rate, which is the first derivative, is used to determine how quickly the cattle's weight increases at a specific time. By the age of the cattle of 24 months, we can see that the weight of each cattle increases by 4.62 kilograms per month, resulting in a final month of 290 kilograms. The studies also shows that palm kernel cake, which is known as PKC, helps a lot in the improvement of growth performance and weight gain in the Kedah, Kelantan cattle. One of the suggestions to improve this HTML model is that we can add automatic markers on the graph to indicate the point of the maximum growth. This would make the data easier to understand and interpret. In conclusion, calculus does help farmers make more accurate decisions regarding cattle management. This will lead to an improvement of efficiency and productivity in Kedah, Kelantan cattle meat production. And that's all from me. Thank you.
My name is SOLEHAH and I am an undergraduate student majoring in Sustainable Food and Agricultural Agrotechnology. Today, I am proud to present my interactive web application, the Harmonious Growth and Derivative Simulator. As an agrotech student, my goal is to demonstrate how we can bridge the gap between pure mathematics and modern precision farming in Malaysia to maximize crop quality and minimize agricultural waste. Let's summarize the biological challenge. The Harmonious mango is the pride of Perlis, but it is highly sensitive to climate fluctuation. To monitor its health, we study fruit development kinetics. Fruit mass does not accumulate linearly. It follows a S-shaped growth curve. We model this biological phenomenon using the logistic function f of t equals L divided by 1 plus E to the power of negative k times open parenthesis t minus sub-0 close parenthesis, where L is the final weight, k is the cellular growth rate, and T0 is the inflection point. However, tracking cumulative weight isn't enough. To optimize resources, we need to know the daily rate of change, which is the exact first derivative of this function, f prime equal to L times k times open parenthesis t minus t sub-0 close parenthesis, open parenthesis 1 plus e to the power of negative k times open parenthesis t minus t sub-0 close parenthesis square. Why is studying this bioscience problem so critical for Malaysian agrotech? Traditionally, farmers apply fertilizer and irrigate based on intuition, which leads to catastrophic issues like skin cracking from overwatering or small low-grade fruit from under-fertilization. By calculating the first derivative F prime T, we obtain the instantaneous daily growth rate. This represents the slope of our S-curve at any point. Understanding this slope let us identify the peak physiological growth window. This is the exact moment when the mango cells are expanding at maximum speed, demanding peak water and potassium input. In short, studying this derivative eliminates guesswork, transitioning farms from traditional schedules to precision fertigation. Let me demonstrate how our simulator models this directly by interacting with the graph. I will click on 4 distinct physiological growth points. Point 1, initial lab phase. At 30 days, the fruit is in its infancy, weighing only about 32 grams. The derivative F prime 30 is extremely low at 2.2 grams per day. Biologically, the fruit is undergoing microscopic cell division inside the ovary. Biomass expansion is slow, meaning resources demand is minimal. Point 2, exponential or log phase, which is at 60 days. At day 60, we reach the inflection point T0. The cumulative weight is 210 grams. But look at the derivative, it spikes to its absolute maximum of 7.88 grams per day. This is the high risk window. The fruit is elongating rapidly. This derivative values tells the farmer that drip irrigation and liquid potassium must be supplied at peak levels right now to prevent skin rupture and secure super grade A status. Point 3, deceleration and maturation phase, which is at day 95. At day 95, the mango is heavy at 384 grams, but the derivative has dropped back down to 1.2 grams per day. Growth has slowed, cells are fully grown, and the biological focus shifts from structural expansion to importing carbohydrates, converting starch into the rich aromatic sugars Harmanis is famous for. Point 4, harvest and senescence phase, which is at day 115. At the day, cumulative mass places near our carrying capacity L, which is 450 grams, and the derivative approach 0.53 grams per day. This derivative of 0 mathematically confirms physiological maturity. Harvesting must occur immediately to ensure optimal commercial shelf life. Finally, how we can make this HTML application even better for real-world deployment. My recommendation is to integrate this simulator with live IoT sensor APIs. By pulling live telemetry data such as soil moisture, electrical conductivity, and ambient temperature sensors deployed in a peerless greenhouse, we can dynamically adjust the growth coefficient K and the carrying capacity L in real time. Instead of using static parameters, the calculus equation would automatically recalibrate daily, providing farmers with an automated live AI alert system, telling them precisely when their crops have entered peak resource demand phase. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Adam bin ALIMUDDIN. F25A1554. My project is Oil Palm Seedling Growth and Derivative Simulator. This project studies oil palm seedling growth in Malaysia nurseries before seedlings are transplanted into plantation. The main bioscience problem is understanding how biomass plant dry weight increase over time and identifying when the seedlings grow most rapidly. The model uses logistic growth curve, which is common in biology because living organisms usually grow slowly at first and then rapidly in the middle stage and then slow down as they approach their maximum size. By calculating the derivative of the growth function, agronomists can determine the exact period when nutrient demand is highest and optimize fertilizer application. Uh, so the importance of studying this bioscience problem is it can improve fertilizer efficiency. For example, is knowing the peak growth period helps farmer apply nutrients only when plants need them the most. Secondly, it can reduce agricultural waste. It can over fertilization waste money and can pollute soil and water system. It also can improve seedling quality. Healthy seedlings establish better after transplantation and may produce higher yields later. Mathematical formula we use is in logistic growth function is f of t equals to L over 1 plus E minus K T minus T0. And we use the formula for growth rate derivative is ft of t equals L Ke minus K T minus To over T0 over 1 plus E minus K T minus To 2 of 2. The stimulant treatments is the max biomass capacity L as L. This value represents the maximum of biomass an oil palm seedling can potentially receive under certain environmental and genetic conditions. If we increase the L to the right, the biomass become higher, which may present improved soil quality, better genetics, or more favorable growing conditions. And the second one is the growth rate constant as a K. This parameter controls how quickly the seedling grows. A higher K value means the plant accumulates biomass more rapidly, producing a steeper growth curve. And the last one is inflection point, ST0. This is the week when the seedling reaches its maximum growth rate. At this point, metabolic activity and nutrient demand are at the highest. Moving the slider to the left means the peak growth occurs earlier, while moving it to the right, the delays the peak growth period. As we can see at the graph, the first week, the seedling total drag weight early vegetable pest like period. At week 1, the seedling is in the pre-nursery stage. Cumulative biomass is very low at 8.04 gram. The derivative rate of change is 1.118 gram per week. This positive but tiny derivative indicates slow root and shoot network structural rehabilitation. Direct strong fertilizer are not advised yet as cell division is slow. So we can look at the week 26. Maximum metabolic inflection at its peak. The seedling is at the mathematical inflection point, T0. The growth reached its absolute maximum at 13.13 gram per week. At this point, the mathematical acceleration is 0, and the growth speed is capped. This is the circular gel peak demand phase. And we can see that the week 52, the pre-transplant stabilization, the cumulative dry weight is near carrying capacity of 343.06 gram of the 350 gram ceiling. The growth derivative has slowed down to crawl 1.0 gram per week. This flat line indicates the ceiling is physically mature, root-bound, and structurally stable. One recommendation to improve the HTML is add a real-world interpretation panel. When user click a week on the graph, it displays a colored recommendation box, such as, for example, the growth stage at week 1 to 15, The interpretation showed the early stabilization phase and so on. In conclusion, this project combines bioscience and calculus to model oil palm seedling growth. By using logistic function and derivative, farmer can identify peak growth periods, improve fertilizer efficiency, reduce waste, and support sustainable agriculture practice. Thank you. That's all from me.
My name is RAFIENA YASMIN binti MOHAMMAD ROZANI, and I'm an undergraduate student in the SFA Agrotechnology program. Today, I will present my project on the application of derivative in bioscience, especially is analyzing the growth rate of rice plants using an interactive HTML and chart application. The bioscience problem chosen for this project is rice plant growth monitoring. Rice or Oryza sativa is an important crop in Malaysia, and farmers need to monitor its growth throughout the cultivation period. In this project, the height of the rice plant is represented by a mathematical function, while the derivative of the function is used to determine how fast the plant grows at different stages of the planting. The interactive graph allows users to visualize plants growth and calculate the growth rate by clicking on any point of the graph. Study rice growth is important because it helps farmers make better agriculture decisions. First, it helps determine the most suitable time for fertilizer application when the crop is growing rapidly. Second, it supports irrigation planning by identifying study stage where water demand is high. Third, is help farmers identify when the crop is approaching maturity and prepare for harvesting. By understanding the growth rate of the rice plant, farmers can improve productivity and manage resources more efficiently. When the point of the graph is clicked, the application calculates the derivative value, which represent the growth rate of the rice plant that day. Example 1, early growth stage, we can see when 10. This means the rice plant is growing quickly and actively developing leaf and stem. At this stage, nutrient and water requirement are usually high. In middle growth stage, in day 25, this means the rice plant is still growing, but the growth rate is starting to slow down. This plant is gradually moving toward maturity. Example 3 is when day 40, we can see the derivative value is close to 0. This indicates that the plant has almost reached its maximum height. Growth has slowly, significantly, and the crop is approaching the maturity stage. Therefore, each point on the graph provides information about how fast the rice plant is growing at that specific time. On my opinion, one way to improve this HTML is to add a second graph that display the derivative function alongside the plant height graph. This would allow user to compare the plant height and growth rate at the same time, making it easier to understand the relationship between the original function and its derivative. The additional graph would also make the application more interactive, educational, visually applying for student learning calculus and agriculture science. Thank you for me. That's all.